Hello everyone, Theorycrafter here, and today we will make our pickems with a few hours left on the clock. It took me some time because I wanted to analyze every stat as much as possible and come to, I hope, an accurate um, decision. As always, you can, if you want, you can just copy what I will choose, and I will give some extra suggestions in case you don't agree with something. So we will start with event. How many reverse sweeps? Usually we don't really have many reverse sweeps, if any at all. Uh, this year, teams feel like they're pretty close uh, in terms of power, so I would say one or two. We won't have many best of fives, it's just gonna be 9 best of fives, so I will go with one. What will be the longest game? I think 45 to 50 minutes is a pretty good choice. We're in a kind of fast meta. I don't think really we will go more than 50 minutes, and even less than 45 minutes is gonna be pretty accurate. If that happens, I probably think it will either be at the start of the tournament in the play-ins where we have weaker teams and perhaps they won't be able to finish the game, or in the group stage, perhaps in some game with an LCS team. We will see. So this is what I will choose. How many pentakills there will be at Worlds? Uh, Usually we don't have many pentakills. It's quite hard. I've seen a lot of people saying like 2, 3 plus. I will go with one. I think more than one would be a pretty big shot. Either one or two. I will go with a more safe one. Which Drake will be killed the most? Okay, so people say this is a bit random because it's RNG. I don't necessarily agree. Certain Drakes are more powerful, especially in the mid game, so teams are more likely to give more priority taking them. Uh, so we're looking what drakes are better as a third drake, as a fourth drake. And I think Infernal Drake can always be good in every composition, so this is what I will choose. But again, that's indeed a little bit RNG, so it won't really matter what you will choose. How many bottom stills? Unlike pentakills, I will say 6 to 8. Either 6 to 8 or 3 to 5. I think 6 to 8 is a safe choice. Maybe 9 plus. 6 to 8. I think it's a pretty good choice. It's just stats. It's usually the average that we have in Worlds. There's no much depth into that. And now we go to champions. This is where things become pretty interesting. Who will play in the most roles? So this year we don't have a lot of flex picks, which I personally think it's a nice thing because we won't see the same champion again and again. Uh, so we don't have many options. I think the safest is Poppy because you can play Poppy in top lane, in jungle, and as a support. And we've seen plenty of teams trying that. And the other option would be Lee Sin. Lee Sin was recently buffed for Worlds, and I would not be surprised if we would see more Lee Sin being triple flexed both in top, jungle, and mid. We don't know really yet. If teams notice that the pick is quite strong, they will have heavy pry on him. So either Poppy or Lee Sin, and finally, of course, Gragas. I mean, theoretically, Gragas can be 4 flex. Obviously, that does not happen. No one plays Gragas mid nowadays. Maybe we could see some mid laner, like, I don't know, Faker, trying Gragas mid. Uh, Theoretically can be flexed in top, jungle, and as a support, but after the nerfs to Gragas to his passive, I don't think he's picked a lot in top lane. He's not as oppressive as before, so I will go with Poppy. I think it's the strongest pick from the ones that can be flexed. Now, for most pick, a lot of people say Kaisa. I don't think Kaisa is correct, right? Because Kaisa is an AD carry, and AD carry is a role that will have um, a lot of different picks that can work, and AD carries in general compared to every other role are the one that they can more easily fit into different team comps and not rely too much on certain synergies. So here, plus Kaisa will probably get quite a lot of bans, so we won't see her a lot. So probably it's gonna be either some top laner or some mid laner. I think Azir is a good option. It has been tested after the nerfs, and people still pick the pick, and he seems really strong. As still a fine early game, really good late game, and we will see a lot of this type of matchups with Azir, Orianna, Syndra. So I will go with Azir. Uh, who will be banned the most? Okay, so here Kaisa is a safe option with that a lot of people pick. I will probably go with Jax. Jax is quite a lot. Jax gets quite a lot of bans both in LPL and LCK. It was not the case that much in EU and NA, but one thing we need to have in mind is a lot of these things are in general for Worlds, right? So from the start of Worlds to the end of the Worlds. So teams that will play more games will affect these things way more. And we expect, obviously, LPL and LCK will go further deep, so they will kind of shape all these choices. And I think Jax is great pick here for the pickems. He has pretty good matchups to most top laners right now. And if it's not amazing like Renekton, he can go even, which is pretty good, right? You have an early game pick, you neutralize him, and then you just outscale him. So he's picked quite a lot. Who will have the most total deaths? Okay, so here I want to differentiate myself from most people. I will just pick Nautilus or Rakan probably. Most people say Nautilus. Um, Basically, you want some engage support because usually this is what is picked the most. Personally, I will go with a totally different thing, right? Totally different choice. I won't go for a Nautilus or a Khan. I recommend you to pick any of these two. Uh, if you want to make it more sure, I just want to be different. I will pick again Azir. Azir is a pretty immobile mate, even though he has his C, and once when he's picked, he's heavily focused, right? So he historically has a lot of deaths, and I think it's a hard champion that weaker teams will try to imitate stronger teams. They will pick him, they will die, especially when we have EU and NNA picking Azir into LPL teams with a heavy aggro junglers that will focus mid. And I think Azir will be a great choice. Plus, he will pick a lot, right? Who will have the highest win rate? Okay, so uh, 5 games minimum. Honestly, here we can say so many things. What is the strategy here, right, to make this choice? Well, basically, you want a champion that can be a great situational pick. Uh, Hopefully, you're going to have a great situational pick that is played as a counter pick. It's not blinded, it's played in a very specific matchups, and hopefully it's played by someone that is pretty good on the champion. And on the same note, you don't want the champion to be played too much, because the more a champion is played, the more win rate goes towards the real, whatever that means, win rate. So you want it's a little bit of luck, right? Uh, we have some choices here. I've seen people saying Bard. I've seen people saying like Maokai or Shaco. Here we'll have a pretty different choice. It's gonna be, I think, Jace. And the reason I will pick Jace is because he's played quite a lot by PSG. Maple has played the pick a lot. It can be flexed both in mid and top, so it helps the draft. And it's a very nice snowbally champion, right? So if you pick Jace, you want to snowball and finish the game early, right? And it's a favorite pick of course, of LPL teams. So If it's picked by LPL teams, this will also increase the win rate. But the main reason is because of map, right? Because PSG Talon, which is the play-ins team, they will really show their power in play-ins, right? So they will stomp the teams from other regions that are right from Latin America, Brazil, uh, Oceania, and stuff like that. And that's why I pick it. So it's a combination of someone being good on the pick and a great team being against weaker teams. Plus, they will probably get knocked out early, so the win rate will not be decreased because of more games played on it. So here we play players. Okay, this I think is the hardest session. I spent a lot of hours trying to design who will play the most. We're looking for support players, right? I think the support meta will be quite versatile in these worlds, which I love it. I think we will see a lot of off meta picks, and after a lot of research, I came down to Keria. Another choice would be if you want to go for another role, let's say mid lane, you could go for Caps or Faker. Faker is also playing quite a lot of picks, and I'm sure we will see some nice pocket pick that will be quite fun. But I will go for carrier, right? Through whole season 13, both in summer and in spring, he has played so many champions. He has innovated so many supports, even AD carries in support role. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see something new these worlds. And this is definitely someone I trust for my pickems. Plus, uh, they will play. I think they will go pretty deep into worlds, so there's a higher chance they will try more picks. Even though, let's be honest, once you get to semifinals, you're not really gonna try a lot of new stuff. But nonetheless, I think Carrier is gonna be a pretty good choice here. Who will get the most kills? Here we're looking for ADC, right? In pro play, majority of kills go towards ADC, right? It's not solo queue. People communicate and they let the kills to ADC, so the AD carry can carry, just like the name says. So you have a lot of options here. You have Gala, right? You have Ruler. Uh, Personally, I will go with Paze. It's the AD carry of Gen Z, and I think, and we will see that later on the pickems, I think Gen Z will do very good these worlds. They have an amazing split, and I don't think I will see this stopping anytime soon. So I would really choose Pace, and the guy just rocks. It's that simple. Plus, I think he will go quite deep, right? Uh, in general, LPL teams are a bit floppy, right? So you are not really sure how you see first seeds getting knocked out in the group states, right? We've seen that a lot of times. This doesn't happen really a lot with LCK teams. We had an upset last year with DRX, but still, the good LCK teams, it's not like they fall out of group states. They just didn't do as well. So I think if you play with possibilities and probabilities, it's more likely Pace will play more games and he gets a lot of kills, so it's probably the best option. Highest KDA. Okay, so here a lot of people say Chovy, right? He's considered the KDA player. To be fair, Chovy in 2023 has become a lot better as a player, right? He's not just a KDA player anymore. He's not just a farming simulator player anymore. He's playing way more for his team. He is fine with giving his life if it will serve good his team in a team fight, for example. Still, he has pretty good KDA, and I think a part of that is not him playing safe. It's just that his lining skills are so good that it's very hard for him to get killed in the early game. So I think this increases his KDA by decreasing the amount of deaths he has. Uh, Apart from Chovy, I think AD carry players is gonna be a good option. Two options here. One is Gala. I think Gala is just an amazing AD carry. I hope he will do very good in Worlds. I just love this player. But once again, we will go for a theory pick and something less common, which I've not seen many people picking, and that's Light, right? Light, AD Carry, Weibo Gaming, uh, the outlier, fourth seed of LPL. There's a high chance Weibo will not go deep in the tournament, but this is actually good for us, right? Because we want a player that is obviously a good player. They are very good in not dying, but we don't want him to play a lot of games, right? Because the more games you play, it's more likely to have some less good performance, which will naturally decrease your KDA, right? That's why we always say, you can't uh, talk about the KDA of a player if the player has played 3 or 4 games. So the fact that he's a good player, together with very likely Weibo will not get very deep, I think makes Light the perfect option here. Who will get the first blood? Who will get the most first blood? Okay, so here you want someone that is aggressive early game, takes the kills for himself, and will go deep in the tournament, right? Uh, Someone that comes immediately in my mind is Canyon. Canyon is the type of jungler that he will gank, and if he ganks, he's gonna get the kill, he's gonna snowball, he's gonna play for himself, and he's not just gonna be some passive secondary support, but he will be the kind of jungler that is a strong leader. That being said, Damwon, they're really struggling. They had a hard time even qualifying for Worlds. So I still, right, I'm a huge Canyon fan. I think he's the best jungler in the world right now. And last year and the year before, I don't care what people say, he's the most consistent jungler. He's having amazing early game pathing. He never forces things, uh, and is always pretty strategic with his decisions. But I think the best option here is Peanut. Just like Canyon, he gets a lot of first bloods, but he's in a better team that probably, let's be honest, will go further into the tournament. Right? It's the LCK first seed, Gen Z. So I would probably go with Peanut. Here also you could go for some support. A lot of times support players get the kills in early game, right? With Ignite and stuff, instead of the AD carry. And it's not that bad in early game, right? Because you can get to rush your boots, which will obviously is the most important item for supports in pro play, because you get to roam earlier and faster than your opponent. Who will get at least one pentakill? As we said here, I have put 1 to 2 pedicles most, so there's a high chance no one will get a pedicle. But I will go with Gala. I think Gala is the type of person, it's the type of AD carry, right? We are looking for an AD carry, it's the most likely role to get a pedicle in a pro setting. And I would say even a solo queue. And we're in a Kai'Sa meta. And when you tell me Pentakill, Kai'Sa, first thing that comes to my mind is Gala. We've seen him doing that so many times, ulting to the backline, destroying everyone. So I will go with Gala. And I think I would like to have a Pentakill, right? I hope I will be wrong and we will have more than one Pentakills. I think Pentakills are pretty fun and exciting. Everyone loves Pentakills. I just don't think it will be very likely. Which teams from a region with 2 seeds or less will advance the furthest through Worlds? Here we have one easy decision, which is PSG. I think it's obvious that PSG is the best team from every team in the plains. They have just dominate PCS, and it's objectively the best team. Which team will win the shortest game? So here you want a team that finishes games fast, but also you want a good team that is very likely to play with a subpar team and will be able to stomp them. I have 2 ideas in my mind. One is JDG, the first seed of LPL, which is obviously the most aggressive region. But me personally, I will go with PSG because it's in plains, so it's way more likely to be way better than the other teams and be able to get a fast win, at least in one game, perhaps cheesing a little bit the draft. So I will go with PSG. A lot of faith in PSG. Which team will have the most bottom steals? That does not really matter. I don't think there's an accurate way to predict that. I have not even spent a lot of time. You could perhaps look someone else that have thought more about this. I will just, I don't know, say T1 because they have still bottoms and stuff, but it's a little random. Which team will win Worlds? Okay, we will leave that for last. Which team will play the most different champions at Worlds? A lot of people say here G2. G2 will not get very far in the tournament, and G2 of 2023 is not the G2 of 2019 with all these crazy peaks. I believe it's more likely to see an LCK team uh, having more picks, or perhaps an LPL. From LPL, I think Billy is gonna be the best option, but personally, I will go with T1 because T1 has, first of all, Keria, which we said is gonna be the player that will pick the most champions, so we may as well support our choice more. And there's also Faker, which we've seen Faker trying some unconventional picks in the mid lane over the years, so I will go with T1s. And now, before saying this, let's do the picks here, right? For play-ins, which teams we think will advance. Okay, here it's pretty simple. We'll go for BDS and PSG. Nothing to explain here. I think they are the best teams. And now we will go back to which team will win Worlds. At this point, I would like to tell you that if you have seen this video so far and you disagree or agree with something, write it in the comments. And if you like the video, leave a like, subscribe. We will follow the Worlds way more. We will do pickems for every single phase of Worlds, so make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell in order to see my pickems if you want, obviously. If you don't do it. Leave the video, I don't know. And let's go to who will win Worlds. JDG no, because it's the best team, and almost always the best team does not win Worlds. Right? They will flop at some point, and if you go with LPL, I always say to people that it's more likely for the second or the third seed of LPL to win Worlds. So this would make either LNG or Billy, right? Fourth seed, we've said that they will get knocked out, right, with Light, but I don't know. Maybe it's gonna be the DRX of LPL this year. So if you want to be a little bit more adventurous, you can choose Weibo Gaming, right? Trust the Shy that he will become the Shy of 2019. Personally, I think once again we will have an LCK year. Last year we were hearing the same thing, how bad LCK is, how LPL will dominate, and we had the fourth seed of LCK winning Worlds. I don't think we will have that much of an upset. T1, okay, Aaron chooses T1 because they love Faker. It's a team we all have in our hearts. One team we need to consider is Gen Z, the first seed of LCK. It was quite a hard year for T1. Yes, they are the second seed, but with Faker having his hand problem and the team struggling, I don't know how much this has affected the team. So personally, I think Gen Z had a very good year. And I think their playstyle really just goes well in these worlds and will be good against LPL, right? I have trust once again in LCK. So that's my final pick, Gen Z. Let's hope that we will get a lot of points because there are a lot of rewards, right? So let's hope we will get the rewards. That was the video. If you like it, once again, drop a like, and I will see you after the play-ins with my new pickems. Bye!